Hey everyone, how's it going? Cloud here, and welcome to my guys on the Dealing with Scabaras quest. Now, for this quest you need the following requirements. You must complete these quests: the Feud, Zoga Flesh Eaters, and Contact. Also note, if you previously completed the Contact quest before Stolen Heart or Diamond in the Rough are added to the game, you'll need to go back and complete these required quests before you're actually able to do this one. And as for skills, you'll need level 21 Firemaking, level 50 Agility, level 60 Thieving, and level 60 Strength. And you cannot use boosts to meet these level requirements. You need to have the physical levels themselves. Also do note that the higher your agility, thieving and strength levels are above the required levels, the easier and shorter the quest becomes, and that will make sense a little bit later on. That's it for the requirements. Now onto the items. So you'll need some equipment and good food to be able to deal with several high level monsters. You'll need some Uktanki dung, the camel dung. If you can't remember how to get that, what you need to do is travel to Polnaviac, go into the kebab shop and ask for a bottle of hot spicy sauce, then put that in the camel pen's feeder, and then when the camels eat it, they'll then start pooing loads, and then you need to use a bucket to collect the dung. You'll need 10 gold artifacts from the Pyramid Plunder activity. The gold artifacts are tradable and can be purchased from the Grand Exchange, and they are like the gold seal, golden scarab, and golden statuette, so you might find it easier just to buy them. You'll also need one pyramid top from the agility pyramid. So basically, if you've never done the agility pyramid before, it's pretty simple. It's located near Sophanum. All you need to do is keep climbing up all the different obstacles on the agility pyramid, and then when you reach the very top, you can collect the pyramid top from it. And you're also going to need some random bronze armor and weapons, and it's different for each player. So what I recommend you bring is 18 bronze bars. I'll tell you at the part where you actually need to make them into something, so don't worry about bringing the physical ones with you. You can just keep them noted for the time being. If you haven't completed the Smoking Kills quest and followed my guide with that, I'd also recommend you bring a rope with you, as that helps open up an optional agility shortcut which will help speed up this quest. And finally, having some teleports to Nardar will help, so either the actual Nardar teleport scrolls or the Desert Amulet 2, which has unlimited teleports to Nardar, so either one of them will come in handy as well. Anyways, that's it for the requirements and items. Now onto the quest starting point. So we're currently at the Bandit Camp Lodestone that can be accessed via the Lodestone network. Now if you haven't got this one unlocked, you can choose to start at the Alcarid Lodestone. It will just mean you'll have to travel to Shantae Pass and use the magic carpets to get to this point. From here we want to head to Sophanum, so you can either walk from the Bandit Camp Lodestone, or if you run over in the direction of Polnaviac and get one of the travel rugs to go to Sophanum. Either way, we're going to head in that direction, and we need to go find the High Priest, who can be located in the temple to the southwest of the Pyramid Plunder pyramid. So when you arrive in Sophanum and you're in the temple, speak to the High Priest and he'll request your help with identifying a corpse. You want to climb up the ladder and then continue the conversation. You'll find that the corpse is not quite dead, and in fact is Mesa. Talk to her and ask her why she's there, and she'll mention that there are tunnels from the east coast of the desert that lead into those from Sophanum. You then want to climb down the ladder and talk to the High Priest to get his support for the mission to explore these tunnels. Okay, so from here we need to head to the swamp, which is located southwest of Sophanum. You'll see me having the marker displayed on the map now. So we're going to start heading in that direction, so just watch where I'm going. And then when you're near the swamp, you then want to head to where the rocky stairway is and head up that direction. When you climb up the stairs, you should see 2 archaeologists, and you want to speak to lead archaeologist Abigail. After going through some dialogue, before the archaeologist will help you, you must prove your competence with a series of mathematical questions and then help them collect some items for Simon Templeton. So the first task basically is mathematics. So the mathematical questions are using round down division, and they're a bit different for each player, so I can't really talk you through it too much. Most of these you should be able to just use your calculator on your computer if you really get stuck. What I'll say is, if you ever get an answer that, for example, you do an equation and it comes to the answer on the calculator 98.7, for example, you always want to round down, so the answer will be 98. And again, if you've got 33.5, round down the answer to 33, so never include the point. Most of it though should be very basic mathematics. So after you've solved a few mathematical equations for them, the archaeologist will ask you to fulfill an order with Simon Templeton for them by collecting a pyramid top from the top of the agility pyramid, 10 gold artifacts from the Pyramid Plunder activity, and distressed, otherwise known as oxidized, bronze items. The number and the type of items vary for each player, which are stated in the quest journal, and they'll also provide the empty crate required for distressing the items. So these are the possibilities of what you could get. You could either get 18 daggers, medium helmets or swords, 9 scimitars, long swords, full helmets or square shields, or 6 chain bodies, kite shields, plate legs or plate skirts, or 2-handed swords. So all of the possible ones you could get asked for are basically created by having 18 bronze bars in total, which is why I recommended you having them. Now, the closest anvil is in Nardar, so you can either walk there or, like I said at the beginning of the quest, use a form of teleport to get there. But just before you do that, there isn't a little agility shortcut that you can create. So there's a bit over near the north side where you can climb over this pillar, and you'll notice on the mini-map there's a little green agility shortcut icon, and you'll see a spot where you can use a rope on the ledge. That just makes getting back here easier. So if you're heading back from Nardar to this area, where you can go via a different way instead of having to head through the swamp again, so make sure you do that with the rope you brought with you. Once you've done that, you then want to head to Nardar by either walking, so you can climb down the rope that you just made if you haven't got any teleports, and then keep heading in that direction, or teleport. Either way, I'll speak to you in a moment. So once you're in Nardar, you should find a bank here, so you can obviously turn your noted bronze bars into actual bronze bars, and there's also an anvil in the town. So what you want to do first, you can't actually oxidize the bronze until you make it into the weapons or armor that you need. So for example, mine was scimitars, so I now went to go make 9 bronze scimitars. So basically, make whatever you've been asked for, and obviously put them all in your bank until you're ready to do the next step. Okay, so once you've made all the bronze items, now you need to distress them. Now this is what you needed your bucket of Oketangi dung for, the camel dung. What you need to do is use the dung on each of the bronze items while standing under the hot desert sun. So this will be sort of a little bit further away from Nardar, where you normally take damage from the desert. So what you want to do is take all of your bronze items that you were requested to bring, and also make sure you've got your bucket of camel dung, and then once you're under the sun, start using the weapons with the dung, and that will then oxidize them and turn them into oxidized bronze weapons. And then finally, after you do that for all your items, you can then put them into the empty crate. So once you've made your oxidized bronze weapon or armor, you should have all the items with you. Hopefully if you got them at the beginning of the quest. The only thing you might not have with you yet is the agility pyramid top, but that's okay, as Simon Templeton is actually near the agility pyramid, so you can go about getting the pyramid top if need be. So what you want to do is head in the direction of the agility pyramid marked on the mini-map, and I'll speak to you in a moment. So once you get near the agility pyramid, you should be able to climb down, and you'll see Simon. Now if you obviously have all the items with you, you can give them to him. If you need to get the pyramid top, climb down a bit more, and then you should see the option to start on the agility pyramid. And like I said at the beginning of the guide, you just need to keep going over all the obstacles until you reach the top. And then when you reach the very top of the agility pyramid, just grab the pyramid top and then go back down to the base, and then you can return to Simon. Either way, once you're at Simon, speak to him, and it should come up with an option about the archaeologist, and he'll then ask to take the items from you. Once you hand over all of the items that he wanted, he'll give you an artifact receipt, and then we can return to the archaeologist's site. So hopefully you set up your rope earlier, which we can access down here. So keep heading in this direction, and then you should see the rope that you set up earlier, and then we can climb back up to where the archaeologists are, instead of having to go all the way around to the swamp. So talk to Abigail again, and she'll give you an empty Scabaras research book and ask you to collect 4 Scarabite notes and copy them into the book. Now these notes can be found as drops from the skeletons and dried zombies found north of the camp, the Scarabites that are found in the dungeon, also from the mummies found to the west of the camp near the agility shortcut. And do know it is possible to gain all full notes you need from killing a single type of monster, so you can just stick to killing the mummies or the skeletons, whatever's easier for you. So the best thing to do is just keep killing all the enemies that you're obviously aiming to defeat, just repeatedly, and not worrying about the drops until one stands out. It should always come up with like the shiny effects saying that a rare item's been found, and then you'll see the Scarabite notes on the floor. And what you want to do, as soon as you pick one up, you want to copy it straight into the book to prevent you getting the same copy of a note. And once you've done this for 4 notes, you'll then be able to go talk to Abigail again. Okay, so once you've gathered all 4 notes and you've added them to the research book, talk to Abigail and she'll give you a Scarabite key that will unlock the door to the dungeon. Head directly north of the archaeologist's camp to enter the dungeon, and it's the dungeon symbol furthest north with the Scarabite key in your possession. Enter the dungeon and then talk to the clay golem to learn about the puzzle that needs to be mastered. Now there are 4 rooms, each with a lever at the far end, and each room contains a lever that needs pulling. There is a time limit within which all levers need to be pulled, or you'll have to start again, and you also can't fail any of these different rooms, otherwise you'll have to start again as well. The door mechanism is powered by a furnace to the north that you must first light the fire with logs. 3 logs can be found in the storage box to the left, but they may be different to your firemaking level, which is why I recommended you bring your own logs. And as I said, like at the beginning of the quest, lighting the logs requires a firemaking level 20 levels higher than normal. Now you'll need to talk to the golem to assign priority to the 4 rooms. Now depending on your skill set, the priority and race through the rooms will be different for each of you. Now with the minimum request requirements, the priority should be Thieving Room, Agility Room, Strength Room and Combat Room. However, I found to make it easier, because the Thieving Room is quite complicated, you don't want to spend all that time doing the Thieving Room only to then fail on the Agility Room. So what I recommend you do is this order: Agility Room, then Thieving Room, then Strength Room, then Combat Room. So after talking to the golem, he'll ask you what order to give them in. So this is what you want to say to him. So choose the options in this order: highest amount of power for the narrow walkway, then the next one for near the mysterious box, then for the huge lever in the empty room, and then near the giant scarab. After you've talked to the golem and obviously been given the rooms the different priorities, you then want to add another log to the fire to allow yourself more time. So the first room you need to go through is the agility room, which is the room with the oily pipe. Now with you assigning more priority to this room, you'll be able to get past this bit 100% as long as you have the required agility level for the quest. So literally click the pipe, go across, and then once successfully crossing the pipe, you'll then pull the lever, and then you can make your way back to go into the next room. Now this next room, the Thieving Room, is a bit tricky. So that is the one that's to the southwest and has a mysterious box inside. Now this requires solving before you can actually pull the lever. So you'll be brought up with this interface, and what you need to do is select 3 of the same kind of rune on a 6x6 board. So it's kind of like one of those memory games where you have to match the different icons across the board. Now you can select and display a maximum of 3 runes per turn, and then the amount of turns you'll have left will go down, and the objective is obviously to display all the runes on the board by matching them. The right hand side shows a mechanism which contains a cog, a pinion and a switch. Clicking on any of these during the puzzle will either add or remove turns to the puzzle countdown counter. Obviously having a higher thieving level will make this room easier to complete, as you'll be able to add more turns to it. Now, as each puzzle assignment is random, an easy way to solve the puzzle is to prepare yourself with a little grid, so you can either copy the runes into them as you start displaying them so you can keep track, or if you've got like a filming software like Fraps or Bandicam or Hypercam, either one of them, you can basically record what you're kind of doing. And as you'll see what I do during this, I just start clicking random runes in a particular order, sort of doing the first top line, then the bottom line, and so on and so forth, until I've revealed quite a few of them, and then it'll be easier for me to basically replay the clip that I recorded and find what runes match. So either way, you can do it however way you like. Most of you might find it easier to do what I said with the 6x6 grid and then just write each rune down as you go, and then you can keep track. All I'd recommend is, if you're going to try and increase the amount of turns you've got, don't let it go right down in case you accidentally wipe all your remaining goes. So I'd recommend once you get to about 10 or 9 goes remaining, then choose to try and click to increase more turns if you're going to attempt to do so. Other than that, I can't really give you any more clues or hints on how to get past this bit. Like I said, it's random for each of you. Just do it in either one of those two ways. Write down as you go what runes are where, or just use some filming software so you can keep playing back the clips and obviously just checking what runes were where. So once you've solved that room, you then want to go to the strength room, which is the southeast empty room, which requires pulling a stuck lever. Now, with the strength level minimum requirement for this quest, you should be able to do it without failing, but strength potions that help pull the lever, but you shouldn't have an issue with that. And then finally, the combat room, which has got the giant scarab inside. What you need to do is destroy the giant scarab before you can pull the lever. Now, as the contact quest is a requirement in order to do this quest, you shouldn't have much trouble against this particular Scarab. It's a lot weaker than the previous one, and obviously if you do get desperate, you can use prayer and that to help you if need be. After you do defeat the Scarab, you can then pull the lever to complete the room. Now, like I said, if you do fail any of those rooms, or you take particularly too long, you may have to restart again, and I had to do that a couple of times. It was the thieving mystery box puzzle that caught me out. So all you need to do is speak to the golem and assign the rooms in that order again, and then obviously add another log to the furnace so you can try again. So after pulling all the levers, you'll now be allowed into the antechamber. Now, the monsters in the antechamber have a chance of poisoning players, so anti-poison can be brought with you, but literally that's up to your discretion. There's also quite a lot of enemies in there, so disabling auto retaliate will help, just so you don't start trying to chase after any of them. Now, once you've entered the newly opened hallway, the first trap, as there's a few traps in this room, is 2 squares from the entrance door, so you want to disable it by searching it, and then continue west. Now, at some point a yellow dot will appear on the southern point in the mini-map, and that means you've reached the area of the Scarabites. So you can turn on protect from melee or ranged if you need be. And then what you want to do is run south and then west, as there'll be one set of traps in a small path at some point, but if you're just paying attention to where I'm going, you should avoid them. And what we want to do is head to the room which has the High Priest of Scabaras in it, who's kind of in the north west corner of the cavern, but again, just watch where I'm going. As soon as you enter this room, all the attacks on you should cease, and you'll then be able to actually go through the dialogue that you need to do. Now, upon entering the room, the High Priest of Scarabus will immediately talk to you. First you want to say conversion A, and he will say that you must either follow Scabaras or die. So now you must make him angry. If you say his magic skills are bad, which is beetle brains, he will attack with magic. If you say his range skills are bad, which is could not hit an ogre, he will attack with range, and obviously the same applies with melee. So pick either magic or range and he'll start attacking you. His combat level's 92, but again, you shouldn't have much issue with him, and again, you can use praise if need be. Now, after you deplete his health, he will immediately talk to you again. So you kind of need to repeat yourself this time, but this time do not make him angry, and instead ask by all the deities what is going on here, and then choose sounds like the Devourer dragged you into hearsay for her own ends. He'll then attack you with a different attack style, which will be the opposite of what he fought last time. So if he used mage last time, he should use range this time, and vice versa. Once again, just deplete his health and then he'll regenerate again, and the dialogue will start once more. And when he talks, you want to repeat the first step, which is by all the deities what is going on here, and then say, I sense the Devourer's hand in this. However, this time, instead of attacking you, he'll snap out of his insanity and assure you that the Scabaras will no longer do any harm. And once you've finished talking to him, we can then head back out of the Scarabite dungeon to go speak to the archaeologists again. Now, before you fully leave the cavern, during this quest you obviously collected 4 or more Scarabite notes. Now after this quest, a mini quest is unlocked called Scarabite notes, where you'll need to collect the remaining 19 notes and give them back to Abigail, and this is also a requirement for the trimmed completionist cape. Now 17 of these can be obtained from killing monsters as you did during the quest, however the last 2 are actually found in these caves. So if you exit the priest's room, go along the wall going northeast, and very soon you'll find a chest, and you want to open that to find a set of notes. And south of the room there is a trap-free path leading to a small room with some lancers and rangers, and there's another chest there. So if you search those notes out of the way, it'll just save you having to come back here later on. So once your business is finished in the Scarabite dungeon, you want to head out, and then we want to return to Sophanum. So you can either choose to teleport back to the bandit camp Lodestone, or however way you got there in the first place, or you can simply just walk back. Either way, we want to return to the High Priest to finish the quest. So once you return to the High Priest, speak to him, and as Mazer's gone, he'll reward you with some experience, and as well he'll teach you on how to make enchanted water tiaras. And I'll come up with congratulations, you have completed the Dealing with Scabaras quest. You're awarded 1 quest point, 7,000 experience in Strength, Thieving, Agility and Prayer, the ability to craft an enchanted water tiara which will protect you from the desert heat effect. Now to craft an enchanted tiara, you want to use water runes on a normal water tiara that you make via rune crafting, and they'll be stored inside the tiara. Every time that the player would normally take a drink, the total number of water runes in the tiara will decrease by 3. And you'll also get 2 treasure hunter keys and 2 hearts of ice. So there we go, quest complete. Overall, not really too long of a quest. The only annoying bit is obviously going through the Scarabite dungeon where you have to do those puzzles at the beginning. The main one I'll probably catch you at is that one where you have to match the runes. It's different for each player. But hopefully following the advice that I gave you guys by either recording your footage or just writing down the runes as you go, you shouldn't hopefully have too many issues against that. Now, as an additional reward, if you talk to Simon Templeton about the job that he mentioned during the quest, he'll send you to talk to the Pyramid Plunder mummy. Now, after the mummy refuses, you can return to Simon, and now Simon will now accept pyramid treasures that are noted, so you don't have to no longer bring him the physical items from the Pyramid Plunder activity, so that makes exchanging for money a lot easier. Also, I mentioned that you'll unlock a mini quest which is called Scarabite Notes, and as I said a little while earlier on, it's basically obtaining the rest of the notes that you were obtaining during the quest. I'll be making a video for that, so when that's available, that'll be in the video description below. But yeah, I don't think you'll run into problems following my guide. However, if you do get stuck, leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll help you out as best I can. If not, thank you for watching. Please make sure you like, favourite, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share with your friends. Thanks for watching everyone, bye bye.